Hey scholars, today it's Friday, March 20th of 2019. So in that big packet that we started on Wednesday 2 days ago, we're going to now be on the last section. Okay, I'm going to show you. And it says Friday, March 20th, 2020, page 1 of the Do Now. I'm going to review how you find the area of a triangle. We're on page 1. So let's look at this. It says, a shape is made up of 20 right triangles of equal size. Each right triangle has a base of 9 centimeters and a height of 2 centimeters. What is the total area in square centimeters of the shape? Show all work. So the first thing I need to know is what is the area formula? The area formula of a triangle says base, actually, let me rewrite that, where it says area formula. You're going to write area equals base, which is B, times h for height, divided by 2. Now, from the question, I'm going to identify, which means name, the numbers that go with the letters. So it says find the total area. So I do not know the area. I call it A question mark. I do know the base, which is B. And in the question, it says right here, 9 centimeters. So I write 9 centimeters. And the height, h, in the question, it says 2 centimeters. I write 2 cm. Now what I simply have to do is I have to take the base and the height, and I have to substitute it into the formula. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to rewrite the formula. Area of a triangle is equal to the B base times h, the height, or h, divided by 2. Area, I do not know. But I know that the B or the base is 9. So I'm going to take this lovely 9, and I'm going to substitute it or replace it in for B. So now then B becomes a 9 centimeters. I'm now going to multiply it by my height, H. Height, H is 2 centimeters. I'm going to take the 2, and I'm going to substitute it in for H, 2 centimeters. And then I'm going to take the answer and divide it by 2. The third line is going to look something like this. I'm now going to simplify. I don't know the area, so I'm going to call it A. And I'm going to simplify 9 times 2, find the product of 18 centimeters squared. And now I got to take it and divide it by 2 for the denominator. So now the area is equal to 18 divided by 2, which is 9 centimeters squared. That is the area of one triangle. So I'm going to write this down. 9 centimeters squared is for one triangle. The problem says if there are a total of 20 right triangles, so I'm going to call this total area, as you'll see in one of the videos uploaded on Google Classroom under area of a triangle. We're going to take the 20 triangles, and we're going to multiply it by the area of one, which is 9, and we're going to get 180 centimeters squared is the total area of 20 triangles. Okay, when you're done, we're going to flip over. We're going to go to page 2. We're going to model how to find surface area because in today's packet, there will be a mixture of questions that will review some of the skills that we have been working with. So everyone write that down. We're now going to move on to surface area, which is the back, page 2. And here's what the question reads. The question says, the surface area of a right rectangular prism with a length L, a width W, and a height can be used by using the formula. So now we're on page 2. S is equal to 2 parentheses length times width plus width times height plus height times length. We know that we have a length, a width, and a height, and we need to figure out what is the surface area. So let's start identifying. S is the same as SA, because in one of our videos we do say SA. It's the same thing as S. We don't know the surface area. We know that the length in the question, it says that it has a length of 14 inches, 14 IN. We know that the width W, it says it is 8 inches. And we know that the height H is 6.7 inches. Now, our job is to take these L length, W width, H height, and to substitute it into the correct place using this red formula that now has a green rectangle. So let me rewrite the surface area formula. Surface area is equal to, I'm going to change the marker so you can see it better. Let me rewrite that. S is equal to 2 parentheses LW plus WH plus HL. Close the parentheses. Now what I'm going to do is on the next line, I'm going to substitute the numbers in the correct spot. I don't know the surface area. I'm not doing anything to the 2 right now, but I'm going to multiply the length times the width. The length is 14 and the width is 8. So 14 times 8, and I'm going to simplify that on the next line as I go. I like to simplify each part as Mr. Rez and I showed you in class. 14 times 8 is 112. Now I'm going to add the width times the height. The width is 8 and the height is 6.7. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 6.7. Let's find the product of 8 times 6.7. We'll do it right here. 6.7 times 8. This is 56. This is 48 plus 5 is 53. Bring down my decimal. 53.6. That's what this is equal to simplified if we use PEMDAS. Now all I'm left to do is to multiply the height times the length. So we're going to do 6.7 times 14. Get that product. Let's figure that out. I'm going to do that right over here for you. I don't care about the decimals right now. I'm just going to strictly multiply the whole numbers. So now we have this. Now we have 4 times 7, which is 28. This is 7 plus 2 is 9. Cross this off, 0, hold my place. This gives me 24, and this gives me 8. I'm going to add these up. 8, 3, 93, 938. Now, in the 6.7, there's one decimal place. I write 1 dp. When there's no decimal, it's to the right of the ones place. So that means over here's my decimal. I move it one place over, which now becomes 93.8. So that is the product of the height times the length, 93.8. Now what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to add up what's in the parentheses. So I'm going to add 112 plus 53.6 plus 93.8 to get a total sum. So when I add all these numbers up, I'll show you right here what the sum is. Remember, line up your decimal points. 112 is the same as 0.00. 53.6, I got to line it up. There were 2 places. 0.6, I like to put a 0. And then I'm going to line up 93.8, add a 0, decimal, smiley face. Now I'm going to add it up. This gives me 0. This gives me 14. Put down the decimal, carry the 1. This gives me 3, 6. This gives me 9. This gives me 6. This gives me 15. This gives me 6. So 659 and 40 hundredths for 659.40 is the sum of this parentheses. Now, 659.40. Now, the only thing I got to remember now is to take this sum and multiply it by 2. I'm doubling the number. So now, what I'm going to do is 659.40 times 2. I'm now going to multiply this. This is 0, this is 8, this is 18, this is 11, this is 130. Okay, so now I get 1,118.80. So that is what my surface area is equal to in square inches. Okay, so there are some problems on that. We're going to now turn to page 4, which I'm going to go over dividing fractions with you with. And there's a video that will be up as well. Remember, you must add them all up and then multiply by 2 to find the surface area. Next page, we're going to page 4. Again, any page that is skipped, you are responsible to complete by using the videos we have supplied for you. Again, if you have any questions, problems, or concerns, feel free to reach out to Mr. Rez or myself for further assistance. Okay, let's now go to page 4. Página 4, page 4. Let's look at the question. It says, Ashley has 2 5/8 cups of vanilla milk cups of milk to make vanilla milkshake. So this is cups of milk, and she has each milkshake uses 1/3 cup of milk. We want to find the maximum, and this is a really great question. I'm happy I'm able to help you on it because we do need some assistance according to our data. Find the maximum number of milkshakes that Ashley can have. So in the video that will be up shortly, if you haven't looked, I'm pretty sure it's already there. This is dividing fractions, right? As it says on your paper, dividing fractions. When we are dividing fractions, we use the keep, change, flip method. So I'm going to write K for keep, C for change, F for flip, or the reciprocal. I know that I'm going to keep the 2 and 5/8, so I'm going to write that under the K column. I know that I have to divide first, and I know that I'm going to be doing the reciprocal, or flipping 1/3 at some point. My next line, I'm going to show you what that looks like in black. So now, here's where the trick is, and I believe I provided an example like this. This is a mixed number. I need to convert it to an improper fraction. So I'm going to use math. I'm going to multiply the 2, which is the whole number, by 8, the denominator, which gives me 16. And then I'm going to add 5. So this looks like 2 times 8 plus 5, which is equal to 21, and I keep the denominator of 8. I'm now going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and I'm now going to do the reciprocal, or flip the fraction of 1/3 to 3/1. And now I strictly have a multiplication problem with fractions. And all we got to do is multiply the numerators. 21 times 3 gives me 63, and 8 times 1, which is my denominator, give me 8. I am not done because 63/8 can be simplified. That means I need to now turn it into a mixed number by dividing. The operation I do is division. So let's now turn this into a division problem. So let's take, I'm going to do it up here, 8 divided by 63. This goes in 0 times, this goes 7. I'm left with 56. This becomes 13, this becomes 5, 0, 7. I'm now left with 7 and 7/8 is what 63/8 is equivalent to, because 7 times 8 is 56, plus 7 is 63/8, just like we converted 2 and 5/8 to be 21/8. Now, if I want to figure out the maximum number of milkshakes that Ashley can make with a 1/3 cup of milk, I'm going to ask myself, would this be 7 cups of milk, or would this be 8 cups of milk? In order to be 8 cups of milk, this has to be 8/8, because 8 divided by 8, or 8/8 is a whole. So we're going to need 7 maximum vanilla, or whatever it says, shakes, something like that. Okay, the answer would be 7 is the maximum, not 8. Let's move on to the next question. We're now going to turn to page 5, and we're going to model how we write an expression and how we solve the expression. So now, again, we're on page 5. And again, at any point you need to replay this, feel free to do that. Page 5 now. Okay, this question deals with calculator. It's a short response. That means you get 3 points for the question on the state exam. Now, all right, let's look at what we got here. Here's what we got. We have Mr. Haas ordered lunches to be delivered at his school, workplace for his colleagues and other teachers. The cost of each lunch, so we're going to write each lunch on my paper, is $13.95. That's each lunch. There is a delivery fee. So a delivery fee means it's a fee that you have to pay for a person to deliver you the food. And that fee, that one-time fee, is $4.50. And it tells you to use N to represent the cost of the lunches that he orders for the teachers at his school or colleagues. So let's look at how we do this. So let's look at what the expression will look like. Expression. Remember, expressions do not have an equal sign. So each lunch is $13.95. That means I'm going to multiply the cost times the number of lunches that he buys, which is N, by showing it by multiplying. And the delivery fee is something that we add one time. A fee is only added one time. So I'm going to take the cost per lunch, which is $13.95 times the number he buys, and I'm going to add it to $4.50. That is my expression. This represents the cost of lunch times the number that he gets, added to the delivery fee of $4.50. Now, the second part says, use your expression to find the total cost. So I want to know the total cost of 7 lunches, right? So in the question, it says use N to represent the number of lunches. So N now is replaced by 7. So this means I have to multiply. I'm going to multiply $13.95 times 7 to figure out how much 7 lunches cost that he buys for his colleagues at Specca. So now 7 times 5 is 35. I carry the 3. This gives me 63 plus 3 is 66. Carry the 6. 7 times 3 is 21 plus 6 is 27. Carry the 2. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at $97.65 is the cost for 7 lunches. But I'm not done yet, because now I got to add the delivery fee. So now I'm going to take, right, I'm going to label this so you know that this is the cost of 7 lunches, right? Now I have to take this amount of money, which is $97. Oh, you can't see me. Let me scooch this down a little bit. $97.65. And I'm going to add it to, what did we say, the delivery fee of $4.50 to get the cost of everything included. This gives me 5, 11, 12. So this gives me $102.15 is the total cost with the delivery fee. Again, the cost per lunch times N plus the delivery fee of $4.50. Substitute 7 in. You multiply to get 97.65. Add the fee of $4.50, and that is how you arrive at $102.15 for the cost of 7 lunches. Now, let's move on now, and let's go to another page. We are going to do page 6 now. So page 6 is about equivalent expressions using the distributive property. So with the distributive property, as I get myself situated like you, we are going to use the box method that we've been working with, and all of you have been doing very well with that. So again, this is now going to be question 3 on page 6. So we're on page 6. We're on problem number 3, and here we go with this question. It reads, write an expression that is equivalent to this one. 9 parentheses 5v plus 7 minus 8v. So remember the box method, right? The box method is actually a visual. So we're going to make a big rectangle, like I'm in purple. I know that my outside term is 9, so I'm going to divide this in half. There were 2 terms inside the parentheses, 9, 5w. I'm adding to 7. I'm not interested in what I just circled in purple just yet, because when I have parentheses, I need to get it by itself first. Okay, that is why we are using the box method. Now, the distributive property means multiplication. So 9 times 5 is 45. I add the v. I now am going to add 9 times 7, which is 63. So this in red is equivalent to this part circled here. So now I have this, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to minus the 8V because that's what's left, right? Now I can combine the 45V with the 8V because they have the same variable. That means they have the same term. They're a like term. So now we have 45V minus 8V, and I'm just going to attach the 63 because there's nothing else to do with that. But I'm going to subtract this because it's, again, a like term. So I'm going to write like term. 45 minus 8 is 37V, and I'm going to add the 63. So 37V plus 63 is equivalent to 9 parentheses, 5V plus 7 minus 8V. One more page. We're going to now go over page 7. All right, page 7. Page 7. So just give me a second, let the board just dry. Okay, got Mr. Edwin in there, who always keeps our room clean, guys. All right, so here's what we got. We're going to now do problem 7. Not problem 7. Page 7, number 4. My mistake. Page 7, number 4. Okay, here's the question we got. We got 9 and 4/5, and there's a video on how you use these PEMDAS operations. So if you're not understanding it now, if you watch the tutorial that Mr. Rez will be putting up, you will be able to see, again, how you can do this question. So this is what we have. We know that when we use order of operations, we use PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or I'm going to write over here, P is parentheses. Hope you can all see that. Okay, P is parentheses. E is exponents. M is multiplication. A is addition. D is division. Sorry about that. A is addition. And S is subtraction. All right, I'm writing PEMDAS down so I remember the correct order. Now, I like to kind of make like a little box. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm going to follow PEMDAS in that order. But before I go any farther, I need to convert the fractions into a decimal. So here's what's going to happen. Before I do anything, the first step I do is I take a fraction and I make it a decimal. So I have 9. I know that 4 divided by 5 is equal to 0.8 or 0.8. On your calculator, it will say 0.8. So I'm going to write it as 0.8. Add. Bring down the 7/3. I'm going to times. 5 is my whole. If I know that 4/5 is 0.80, 2/5 is half of that, which is 0.4 or 0.40. I'm going to turn that into a decimal. Minus 2. So now, I'm going to be able to do my parentheses first. So P for parentheses. So check out what we're going to do now. We are going to subtract what's in the parentheses because PEMDAS is parentheses. That's the first step or order. So now, 5.4 minus 2. 5 from 2 is 3. Add my 0.4. So this becomes 3.4. I'm just going to bring everything down so you can see it step by step, ladies and gentlemen. So now, parentheses, done. Exponents, that's a power raised, a number raised. Here, the exponent is 3. So we need to expand out what is 7 to the 3rd power. 7 to the 3rd power is the same as 7 times 7 times 7. The exponent tells me how many times to multiply the base. So the exponent is 3, so it's 7 times 7 times 7, which is 343. So now, I'm going to now do it in purple. I'm going to just write what I'm changing. I'm converting the 7/3 to 343 because 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. Okay, times 3.4. Now I'm going to multiply. The reason why I'm going to multiply is because in PEMDAS, multiplication comes first before division, addition, and subtraction. Or multiplication and division, you read it from left to right. Whatever comes first, you do. And in this case, it's multiplication. So now I'm going to multiply 343 times 3.4. And when I multiply 343 times 3.4, and yes, I am using my calculator because I don't know that off the top of my head. So hold on one second. 343 times 3.4 gives me a product of 1,166.2. And now I'm going to add the 9.8, put a check mark. There is no division. There is addition, right? So now I'm going to add 9.8 plus this number to get my total answer. So let me show you what that's going to look like here. 1,166.2. Remember, line up your decimals. 9 point. So 9 here, decimal here. And I'm just going to throw in some zeros so I don't get confused. Because I like everything to be in order, as you already know that. Now we're going to add this up to get the sum, the value of the whole expression. This gives me 10 decimal point. This gives me 7, 6. This gives me 16. This gives me 7, 1, 1. So the whole answer of all of this work we just did is 1,176. So all of this, 1,176.0, or this is the same exact thing. Now, we're going to now skip. We're going to do one more. We already have unit rate in here. We have GCF already up there. We have inequalities. I want to go over page 15, okay? Again, I skip pages. You're responsible to complete those on your own at your own time. All right, let's look at one more. And then we're going to call it, I'll do a little bit more for you, and then you're going to be practicing the remainder of whatever's not completed for your grade. Let me just dry the board up. So in the meantime, while we wait, we're on page 15, okay? So if you're there, start reading and annotating it. I'll read it to you. A salesperson had $480,000 in sales last week, which is 20% of the sales that she had this year. Write an equation to be used to determine X, the salesperson's total amount in dollars for this year. So page 15. Number 13. Okay, so the salesperson, we know that they had $480,000. We know that it's 20%. We know that we have to write an equation. And we said that we have to use X for the total. We know that this is the percent. And we know that this is the part. Just because they said the X was the total. So now I'm going to do part to whole relationship. So that formula says part over whole equals, I'm going to put the percent sign instead of the word, over 100. Now, all I'm going to do is substitute the numbers in the correct spot first, because it asks me to write an equation. So I'm going to get there, because an equation has an equal sign. And here is my equal sign. The part is $480,000. So that part goes on the numerator. The whole is the total. And I don't know that, so I'm going to call it X. Or a question mark, or whatever variable you want. Now, the percent is 20. So the percent goes percent over 100. So this represents my equation. Okay? Now, you're going to cross multiply. You're going to use the butterfly method to figure out what X equals. It's going to look something like this. Right? My butterfly method. Okay? Yours might be better. I'm going to multiply 480,000 times 100. I'm going to circle all these zeros here, because that's the cool math trick that we showed you. Multiply my whole numbers, which is 48. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 zeros. I'm going to add 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every 3 comma. 1, 2, 3 comma. Now, last part. I want to now divide this number by 20 to figure out what x is. So I'm going to take 20 divided by, push this over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know this is 0. I know that this goes 2 times. This gives me 8 to bring down the 0. So then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, comma, comma. So then this would be part B in money. And that will conclude today's lesson. I think there was one more problem I wanted to go over with you. Nope. That concludes today's lesson. So please make sure you check Google Classroom to do the rest of the work. Thank you.